Now, the next four examples here, you will notice that the y is not by itself. It's not in y equals mx plus b form. So for us to identify the slope and where it crosses the y-axis, we need to have the y by itself. So if the y value is not isolated, you must solve, so move things around, so that the y is isolated. So if you remember when I taught you how to solve equations with one variable, I always highlight to remember, what am I trying to do? So I'm trying to get this y by itself, so I'm going to highlight that y. And then I want to get rid of what's next to it, which is the 6. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. So then I would have negative 3y equals, and we can't subtract those. One has an x and one doesn't. They're not like terms. So I'm just going to bring it down as 9x minus 6. So we cannot put these together. They're not like terms. Then the very last step when we solve equations, when there's just the variable that we're trying to solve for and a number right in front of it has a coefficient, it's being multiplied, we divide. So we're going to divide both sides by negative 3. Now when we divide one side, we have to divide the whole other side by negative 3. So we would have y equals 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3, and then we bring down the x. And then here we have negative 6 divided by negative 3, which is positive 2. So now we have the equation like this. So now you could tell me that the slope is negative 3. And because the slope is negative 3, we know that that means the line goes down. And it crosses the y-axis at positive 2, at 0, 2, so 2. So I went and graphed it here. We said that it should cross at 2. Notice it does. And the slope was negative. And notice here, it's going down, so it's negative. And then the rise is 3, and the run is 1. So it works. Checked it with the graphing calculator. All right, let's go ahead and try example 6 here. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight to remind myself I'm trying to get y equals mx plus b. So I highlighted the y. So I need to get rid of 6x from this side. So I'm going to subtract both sides by 6x. And we cannot put those together. One has an x, one does not have an x. They're not like terms. Now, since the x goes after the equal sign, I'm going to put the negative 6x first. And then this 16 is positive. It doesn't have a negative in front of it. So I'm going to put plus 16 here. And now the very last step, when I just have the number and the variable, the last step is to divide. So I'm going to divide everything by 8. So I get y equals, and then here I have a negative 6 divided by 8 right here. Well, a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So I'll have a negative here. But 6 divided by 8 doesn't go into 6 evenly. So we're going to take 6, 8, and 8 and just simplify it. So divide it both by 2, and we get 3/4. So negative 3/4 x. And then we have 16 divided by 8 right here, which is positive 2. So now we have the y by itself. So the number in front of x is your m, your slope, so negative 3/4. And because the slope is negative, the line will go down when we graph it. And it crosses the y-axis at 0, 2. So the b value is 2. So if we look at that, here we go. It crosses at 0, 2 right there. And then the slope was -3/4, so it goes down. And then if I pick 2 points, so I'd go rise 3 and run 4 boxes. So -3/4 was our slope. So it worked. Okay, so example 7 here. Again, our goal is y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to highlight the y to remind me. And there's nothing I need to get rid of other than that -4 that's in front of the y, the coefficient. So I'm going to be ready for division right away. I'm going to divide everything by a -4. So we get y equals, here we have -2 divided by -4. So first of all, a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that makes positive. And then 4 can't go into 2 evenly, so we're just going to divide out the common factor, which is 2, and we get 1/2. And then we bring down the x. And then here we have 8 divided by -4. So a positive divided by a negative is a negative, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we have the y by itself. That means that 1/2 is our slope, which it's positive, so the graph should be going up. And then this number here tells us it crosses the graph at 0, -2. So let's check if it does. So here we go. Crosses there at -2, 0, -2. And if I pick 2 points, we said that the slope was 1/2, so it should be going up, which it does. And the rise is 1, and the run is 2. So it works. Okay, last one here. So our goal is to get the y by itself so we can identify the slope and where it crosses the y-axis. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight to remind myself I'm trying to get that isolated. So to get rid of x, if I have one x, I need to take away an x. So it doesn't matter if you write 6 minus x there, but I prefer to make it look like this. So I'm going to put the x one first. I'm going to put the -x and then the +6. And then the very last step to get rid of the number in front of y, the coefficient, we divide everything by -2. So we would have y equals, and then remember in front of every variable there's a number, so there's a -1 there. So we have a -1 over a -2. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. So these are going to make positive. And then 2 can't go into 1 evenly, so we're going to leave it as 1/2. Bring down the x. And then we have +6 divided by -2, which is -3. So we have the y by itself. So we have the slope is 1/2. It crosses the y-axis at 0, -3. Since the slope is positive here, the graph will go up from left to right. So if we look here, it crosses down here at -3, and it's going up like it should because it's positive. And then if I pick 2 points, the rise is 1 and the run is 2. So it is correct, it matches.